Okay, so I decided how I want to cut the board, and this is based on a mini Wii that a user on BitBuild had created. So it's not the OMG WTF cut, but it's pretty close. It just includes all 4 mounting points for the heatsink, and it includes these ports as well. I'm going to be cutting out the memory card slot, and I'm going to be cutting out the GameCube ports, and I'm going to reuse these for a GameCube Slim. But yeah, it's a little more conservative of a cut, but it works out because I'm not making a portable, I'm just making a mini, so it should make my life a little easier, and then we can hold on to these ports. I'm not going to have to resolder them anywhere.
1 hour later.
Alright, all of you that told me that doing a Wii is gonna be better and easier, none of you have ever soldered to stuff this freaking tiny. Look at that. Ready for this? Ready for this? Here's my finger for scale. This is impossible. Sup y'all, Editor Bringus here. I was an absolute Bringus, and a lot of the next clip got kind of destroyed, but I trimmed the motherboard, and so I'm gonna start talking about it. Also, I'm very sick. Anyway. Obviously, it has been trimmed down. It's a lot slimmer than an original one, and I've actually got the piece that I trimmed off here. It was about that big. There's a little bit cut off here that I had used for the Mini V2. That's no longer there. It was the GameCube ports and memory card slots. Obviously, don't need all this. I say obviously, but it might not be so obvious. The reason we don't need a lot of that is because it's all power regulation stuff. So it just converts 12 volts to 3.3 and 5 volts and all that. And the reason we don't need that anymore is because we have some of these. And these are custom regulators. So these are used big time in the GameCube and Wii portabilizing scene. And they are just some ultra tiny little things that are going to do the job of the rest of the Wii's motherboard pretty much. They're super tiny, going to be really good for this project. It's not like we're going to be hurting for space in this one, but you know, it's nice to have them tiny anyway. And right now the goal is to just get these things wired up and then fire up the Wii motherboard and make sure it still works, because I've done some significant trimming here and I haven't had a chance to test it since I did the trimming, so I just have no idea if it still works.
This video is sponsored by PCBWay. Alright, let me tell you what PCBWay does. They specialize in prototyping and low volume production of printed circuit boards. You know, these things. They really are a one-stop shop for all your electronic prototyping needs. They do standard PCBs, advanced multi-layer HDI PCBs, flex PCBs, and the cherry on top is that they'll even give you the option to have them pre-assembled for you at their factory. And in addition to PCBs, they're also branching out into some new services that includes 3D printing and CNC machining. Personally, I am really excited to give those services a try, since I've always wanted to have the shells of my projects printed professionally. And CNC machining? Oh my god, it could open up a world of new options for custom heat sinks in my mini consoles. I am so excited that I get to work with PCBWay. New users get a $5 welcome bonus on their first order, and 10 PCBs are just $5, so it's literally just free. Plus, their build time is only 24 hours. Pre-assembly services start at $30 for 10, plus you get free global shipping. And if anything I talked about piqued your interest, head down to the link in the description to see what PCBWay can offer you.
Alright, I've got a custom regulator fully wired up here, and there's a 2K ohm resistor right there, which is going to regulate this output down to 3.3 volts, or at least pretty close to it. And unfortunately, this one had to make a sacrifice because I wired the input to the output, because it'd be like that sometimes. So that one's dead, but luckily I only need 4. So there's 3 there, 1 here, there's a 5-pack, that one's dead, rip, but we still got 4, so we're good. And I just wanted to show you guys, so I got roughly 12 volts going in, which is what the Wii power brick puts out, and then I got the multimeter right here to measure the output, and the output of these little things is dependent on the value of that resistor. There's a chart that I've been referencing, and a 2K ohm resistor should get you about 3.3 volts, like I was saying, and then different values will get you different voltages, and for the Wii you need like 1.5 volts, 3.3 volts, 5 volts, stuff like that. So that's why I even need a whole bunch of these, because I need a whole range of voltages. But anyway, let me see if I can connect this up while holding a camera. Alright, I've got this little set of pliers weighing down the ground cable, so I can just connect
connect this one right here. So I'm gonna touch these leads together and we get, there we go, look at that, just about 3.3 volts. And it's not gonna be exact because technically, if you do the math on that resistor, you need 1.89K ohms, I think is what it was, but 2K is the closest I'm gonna get, and the Wii should run happily off of 3.24. Got 4 of these regulators wired up. We got 1 volt, 1.15 volts, 3.3 volts, and 5 volts. Each of those are going to serve a different function on the Wii's motherboard. But yeah, I got it on a little tiny PCB there. There's all the resistors. Definitely not a professional job by any means, but you know what? It does get the job done, so... Figured I should probably test the setup first. So I've got the custom regs here set up on the motherboard. Going to power it off of the power supply here, and then I'm going to be able to see on the TV if anything happens. I have not tried it yet, so I'm kind of terrified, and if it doesn't work, well, that might just be it for this project. Alright, powering on. And... uh-oh. Well, it does not work. I played around with it a little more, played around with the regulators a little bit, and the best I could do is get it to output like some black and gray and green garbage video. It's not any kind of video in particular, it's just like garbage data, static type stuff. So, however, I'm not that upset because I got some cool stuff I want to do with the original Xbox soon here, so guess I have an excuse to do that now. Anyway, thanks for watching the series here, even though it really didn't get off the ground very much. Like and subscribe if you want to see me bungle more consoles, I guess. I'll see you guys in the next one.